good to go. Oh, no. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustment meeting for October 14th. My name is Daniel Jeunesse. I am the acting committee chair, and the remaining members of the committee are as follows: Tom Plamondon, Steve D'Angeli, Linda Duringer, and David Mango. The secretary treasurer is Brashante Manoharan, and the planner for today, I believe, is Matthew Pavarini. The council committee secretary is Linda Botos, and the manager of development and planning is Ana Henriquez. The public meeting is being audio and video recorded, is also being conducted virtually and through the use of Zoom technologies, as well as being live streamed on YouTube. Your name, address, comments, and any other personal information are being recorded according to the Municipal Act and the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. This will help our town clerk prepare accurate minutes and to create a record that is available to the general public, including on the town website. Questions about this collection should be directed to the town clerk. Please be advised that the reports being considered tonight are available on the Town of Aurora website and through the staff at the Town Planning Department. Should you wish to receive notification of any of the decisions of tonight's meeting, please complete the appropriate form available through the town staff. Owners and agents will automatically be notified. For each application that will be considered tonight, the following process will occur. I will briefly outline the purpose of the application, and then the applicant or agent will be given the opportunity to make a presentation. However, one is not required. It is the applicant's decision whether they wish to speak or let the application proceed on the merits of the information as received. Presentations and deputations are limited to 5 minutes as much as possible. Following any initial comments from the applicant, I will invite members of the public who have interest in the application to come forward and address the committee. Those members of the public who wish to speak must clearly state their name and address and must provide information to the secretary treasurer. Should you wish to obtain a copy of the notice of decision, please complete the appropriate form available through the secretary treasurer. Members of the public are reminded that text comments are not permitted during the meeting and they will not be noted in any matter or at any time. Each individual may speak only once on an issue, and once the discussion has commenced in respect of a motion, no further presentations shall be made. If you require any technical assistance with your presentation, please let me know. If you wish to speak or are currently following the meeting on the YouTube feed, you will need to turn off this feed and join the live meeting, as there is a 2-minute lag between the YouTube and the live feed. Please ensure that all questions and or comments are directed through me as the chair, and if relevant, I will request the appropriate person to respond. It should also be noted that the applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to any question or comments should the committee feel that this is appropriate. Tonight's meeting will now commence. So I will look to the committee for a mover on tonight's agenda. I did see, I believe I saw David there accept to move it. Do I see a seconder? Linda. Call to question. All those in favor of the agenda? Motion carries. All right, next is I'll ask the members of the committee if there are any declarations of interest or any declarations of pecuniary interest, sorry.
Yep.
I'm seeing heads shaking no, that's great, thank you. Next is the confirmation of past minutes for the meeting held on September 9th, dated or noted as 20210909. I see Tom, so Tom moves forward. Thank you. Sorry, I need a seconder.
Great. So Daniel, I move that the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment for September the 9th, 2021, being meeting number 2109, be accepted as circulated.
Perfect, thank you. And do we have a seconder? Steve, perfect. All those in favor? Excellent, thank you. So on to the presentations of applications. Let me switch my agenda. So the first presentation will be for MV 2021-26. So file MV 2021-26 for 34 Kanai Avenue. So the application is as follows. The owner applicant is requesting relief for the requirements of the town comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to facilitate the development of a single-story rear addition. The following relief is being requested. A, section 24.497.3.2 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum interior side yard setback of 1.5 meters and 3.0 meters beyond the main rear wall of the adjacent dwelling. The applicant is proposing an interior side yard setback of 1.24 meters to the east property line. B, section 24.497.3.2 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum interior side yard setback of 1.5 meters and 3.0 meters beyond the main rear wall of the adjacent dwelling. The applicant is proposing an interior side yard setback of 2.28 meters on the west property line. And C, section 24.297.3.3 of the zoning bylaw permits a maximum lot coverage of 35% or 235 square meters, whichever is less. The applicant is proposing a lot coverage of 38.93%. So moving forward, in the background, the subject property currently contains a one-story detached dwelling. And there is also vegetation on the property, which includes a cedar hedge on the west property line and one tree in the front yard. The surrounding area is established residential neighborhood that is generally characterized by 1 to 2.5 story detached dwellings. On the zoning bylaw components, the subject property is zone R3-SN 297, a detached third density residential stable neighborhood exemption zone. As per the town site plan control bylaw 6106.18 as amended, the proposed rear addition is not subject to the site proposal approval as the proposed addition is less than 50 square meters. The preliminary zoning review has been completed by the town of Aurora's building division. The PZR identified the required variance. The applicant has stated that the owner's daughter is currently coping with an illness, thus requiring additional space for recovery and privacy as the stated reason for not complying with the zoning bylaw. The main planning comments are that the planning staff has evaluated the minor variance application stated pursuant to the prescribed tests as set out in sections 45-1 of the Planning Act as follows. As it relates to the proposed variances and general intent of the official bylaw, staff considered the proposed variances of the side yard setback and lot coverage to meet the general intent of the official plan. The proposed variances as it meets the general intent of the zoning bylaw. Staff also do not anticipate any impacts of the property on the east 36 canal, given the existing interface between the building and both properties on the proposed one-story building form. As such, staff are satisfied that the requested side yard setback variance meets the general intent of the zoning bylaw as it relates to the being desirable for the appropriate development of the property. The requested increase in lot coverage is modest and will not have an adverse impact on the abutting properties. Therefore, staff considered the variance the variance being considered as appropriate development of the property. And finally, as it is considered, or as it relates to being considered minor invariance, the requested lot coverage increase is minor in nature and is not anticipated to create any adverse impacts and will continue to maintain sufficient outdoor amenities space with a sense of openness in the rear yard. As such, staff are of the opinion that the requested variances are minor in nature. In terms of comments from other parties, Building Division has completed the preliminary zone review. And Engineering Division has reviewed with no concerns. The Operating Services Park Division has reviewed and has made comments as it relates to tree situation, and it has imposed or requested conditions as per the approval. LSRCA has commented or has no concerns. The Central York Fire Services have no comments. York Region have no comments. Electra has no objections. In conclusion, the planning staff have reviewed the application with respect to sections 45 of the Planning Act and believe that and are of the opinion that the minor variance meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act and therefore recommend moving forward. There are 3 conditions of approval, which will be discussed today. First, having to do with the, I'll skip them, but there are 3 and the third has 6 elements to it. So I look now to the owner applicant if they wish to make a statement or make a presentation.
We have nothing to say. We agree with the comments of the staff.
I apologize. First of all, good evening and welcome. Would you be? Can you please provide your full name and address for the record?
My name is Joe Battaglia. I'm the architect. I live at 159 John Street in Thornhill.
Thank you. So yes, please proceed.
Well, as I said, I've read the staff report as you have reiterated it, and I agree with the comments of the report and believe that these variances are minor in nature and ask that the committee grant approval of these variances. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Prashante, I do not believe we have any registered public delegates today. Is that correct for this minor variance?
That's correct. Through you, we have no members of public to provide any delegation.
Thank you. All right, then I will look to the committee if there are anybody who has questions or comments that they wish to make. Oh, Linda, please go ahead. You're on mute.
Through the chair, thank you very much. Just a question, looking at the plans and looking at the side yard setbacks and the front of the building. I was just curious to know why the front facade is digging into the ground to make an entranceway there from the street level, from the street in. I just think it's, is there a plan for a duplex there or a triplex of any sort?
That would be for the question for the owner. He would be able to answer that question. I just did what I was told to do. So is Mr.
That's me.
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. It's just to give my daughter access to the lower level so she can have her own space, and we can basically keep an eye on her health at the same time. It's not a duplex, it's not a triplex, it's a single dwelling home with one hydrometer. There's none of that going on. So it's just a matter of convenience, really. I mean, she's 32 years old and she needs her own space, basically.
Oh, I apologize. I was just reminded. Can you please state your name and your address of domicile?
Tom Oliveras at 165 Mabernac Boulevard in Aurora.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Through the chair, thank you very much for that, Tom. I just wanted to ensure that it wasn't going to be turning into duplex. Or
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that everything, Linda?
Yeah.
We good.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Perfect. No problem. Is there perfect? Tom, please go ahead.
Thank you, Daniel, for the chair, to staff. So Matthew, just to pick up on Linda's comment, on the site plan, it does show the addition on the back. It doesn't indicate a staircase going down from the front yard. I'm wondering if this was looked at, and are there any setback issues resulting from that?
Through the chair, the only setback issues are the ones that are identified in the preliminary zoning review. So this the site plan was put through the preliminary zoning review process, and any shortfalls or deficiencies are before committee tonight for consideration.
Thanks, Matthew. And I guess similarly, I'm looking at what would appear to be more the main entrance to the residence, which is actually on the side of the house. And about halfway down, it looks like there would have to be some kind of structure built there in order to gain access to that door. Again, that's going to be built right on the property line. So I'm curious as to whether or not that was confirmed at the preliminary zoning review stage. Back to staff.
Through the chair again, any nonconformities are identified in the PZR, which are before us for consideration tonight.
Thanks for that, Matthew. Appreciate it. And aside from that, I think I'm okay on that. Thank you for the clarity. Thanks, Dan.
No problem. Are there any other committee members who wish to ask any questions? Or David, please go ahead.
Through the chair, I don't have any comments at this time. Thank you.
No problem. That would leave Steve. Linda. Yes, go ahead.
Through the chair, sorry to interrupt again, but I noticed with the back addition, and that's what we're here about as well. When I look at the actual plans, I see that the stairway goes in front of the doorway at the back of the stairs, which seems like a hazard to me. If I was going down the stairs to turn around to get into a door that could be blocked by the stairs, I've noticed that it collides together. I see that as well. That's like it's about. That's fine. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think that's a safe thing to do. Looking at the back of the rear elevation of the plan, and that is the part of the addition that you're asking for the side yard setbacks for and the variances for. So that's just my comment on that.
Okay, thank you. Just confirm. Looks like everybody is good. My only comment or wanting to confirm, it seems as though there is no the lines of the dwelling do not change. The height does not change. It is, by the looks of the drawings and per a quick conversation earlier this week, this is purely an extension of the length of the home. If we were to look at it as a single building, is that correct? So if somebody from across the street was to look at it, it would look just as though there's more tile on the roof.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that was the only clarification or confirmation that I was looking for. So at this time, if there are no other questions from the committee, and it seems that to be the case, I'll look to the committee for a motion to proceed. Oh, sorry, David. Perfect. David, please go ahead. You're muted. David, you're muted. David, you're muted. Do you guys hear me? I'm just asking David.
We
David.
hear you.
Okay.
We do not hear David, though. You're right.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so through the chair, I just want to mention that I think the other member, Steve, was probably not given the chance to comment or ask questions before I make a suggestion for approval or not approval.
I did keep an eye out for all the members, but I'll confirm. Steve, were you okay to proceed?
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, David. Yes, I'm fine to proceed.
Perfect. So, David, I'll throw it back to you. Were you looking to make a motion?
Yes, through the chair, I move that the minor variance application file MV-2021-26 be approved subject to the conditions in the staff's report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Steve was first, so I'll put it to Steve. All those in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you very much to both Joe and Tom. It was quick. It was my first one, so I appreciate that. And with that, we are good to move on to the second application.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. All right, so our second application of the night is for minor variance 2021-28 for 43 Cousins Drive. The application is as requested. The applicant is requesting relief of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to facilitate the development of a new one-story addition, which is approximately 341 square feet or 31.7 square meters in area, to an existing two-story single detached dwelling. The following relief from the requirements of the town zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended is requested. That is section 24.497.3.2 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum interior side yard setback of 1.5 meters and 3.0 meters beyond the main rear wall of the adjacent dwellings. The applicant is proposing a single-story addition, which is 1.5 meters beyond the main rear wall of the adjacent dwelling. Background: the subject property currently accommodates an existing two-story single detached dwelling with a attached carport, a covered porch, and a shed in the rear yard. Vegetation in the form of mature trees exists in the front, rear, and both sides of the yard as well. Part of the official plan, the subject property is designated stable neighborhood by the Town of Aurora official plan. Stable neighborhoods are to be protected from incompatible forms of development, but are permitted to evolve over time. All new development shall be compatible with the surrounding context. Single detached dwellings are permitted in the stable neighborhood designation. The subject property is zone R3 SN parentheses 497, a detached third density residential exemption zone. The proposed rear addition is not subject to the site plan approval as the proposed addition is less than 50 square meters. A preliminary zone review has been completed by the building division. The BZR identified the required variance. The Applicant's stated reason for not complying with the zoning bylaw has been provided in the forms of a cover letter. However, a short review is a love of the neighborhood and a growing family. Planning comments. Planning staff have reviewed the requested variance as per the 4 tests in section 45 of the Planning Act. In regards to meeting the general intent of the official plan, the proposed development is modest in scale and is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. The mature vegetation of the property, which contributes to the character of the streetscape, will remain as is. It is the opinion of the planning staff that the proposed variance maintains the general intent of the official plan. In regards to the general intent of the zoning bylaw, staff are of the opinion that the requested variance provides a sufficient separation distance between buildings on the abutting properties as per the bylaw intents. As such, staff are of the opinion that the requested variance meets the general intent of the zoning bylaw. C, as it relates to the appropriate development or use of the land, staff are of the opinion that the proposed addition and requested variance will not result in any negative impact to the adjacent property or on the streetscape. And finally, as it relates to being considered minor in nature, the PZR that was completed on that all other applicant bylaw requirements are still being met. This would include all other setbacks, building heights, and lot coverage requirements. As such, staff therefore consider the variance to be minor in nature. Additional comments: engineering services have no concerns. However, have requested the owner to provide a grading and drainage plan by a professional engineer. Building division has no comments. Accessibility advisor has no comments. Traffic analyst has no comments. Operational services, park and division have reviewed and have provided a few comments. That in the event that any trees situated on the subject property will be removed or be required to be removed to accommodate the addition as proposed, and will be impacted by excavation or disturbance due to demolition or construction, staff recommends that the committee imposes a number of different conditions which are outlined in the minor variance, which I see as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Central York Fire Services, I reviewed no comments. The Regional Municipality of York has reviewed no comments. Lake Simcoe Regional Conservation Authority, no comments. The Electra Utilities has no objections, however, have made a number of comments which are outlined in the document as well. Public correspondence, there has been 5 written submissions received at the time of the report that I am reading at this time. All 5 can be summarized by the following statement: please accept this letter as confirmation of my support for the application. In conclusion, planning staff have reviewed the application and recommend approval subject to the conditions of approval as set in the attachments as per Appendix A. And I believe there are 7, yes, there are 7 recommended conditions to proceed. At this time, I look if the owner or applicant is with us today and if they wish to make a presentation or any comments.
Hi, committee. I'm Ross Stagner. This is my wife, Leanna. We're the owners of 43 Cousins Drive. Yeah, we'll just kind of briefly say a few things here. We're new to the area. We just recently purchased this home in early 2021. So far, love everything that the town of Aurora has to offer. Our family is growing, so we're actually expecting our first child in December, and we have a need for some additional living space, as outlined in the staff report that you just read, which we're in full support of. We're looking to build a 341 square foot addition attached to our existing dwelling. The the setback that we are looking for relief from is the 3.0 meters beyond the rear wall of the adjacent dwelling. So we will abide by the 1.5 meters interior side yard setback, but once we get past that rear wall, we're looking for to maintain that 1.5 meters. And unfortunately, if we were to follow that 3 meter setback, it wouldn't allow us to build the adequate living space that we're looking for and that our family's in need of. We totally respect and understand the current urban design guidelines for stable neighborhoods, and they were the reason why they were put into place. And we love the neighborhood, the character, and we want to protect and preserve that as well. And we've totally taken that into account with our proposed addition. Our addition is under 50 square meters, so we're not required for a site plan review. But that being said, we've read through the whole plan and totally have kept that in mind with our addition. We feel as though our relief from this zoning bylaw is minor in nature and does not disrupt the overall vision set out for the neighborhood. So in addition to the 4 tests of the Planning Act, we've also kind of taken some other things into account and consideration that we'd like to highlight. Privacy, we've definitely taken that into account. The addition is on the east side of our property, and to preserve privacy for the neighbor, we will not be having any windows or anything that face into the neighboring property, as well as all current vegetation that's there. We will keep that and will not be removing any. Sunlight, we're just building a single-story addition, so currently it's a 2-story dwelling, so it won't be higher than the existing dwelling, and therefore there'll be little to no impact on the sunlight itself in our neighbor's yard. Our design, we feel like it's small and in relative to the rest of the house. We feel like it won't have much of an impact on the street view based on it was outlined in the plan, just all the vegetation and the actual grading of the lot. You probably won't even realize it's there from any angle of the street. So that being said, taking everything into account there, we feel the setback that we are asking relief from is fairly minor in nature, and we feel as though our addition will be a good representation and really conform to the town park neighborhood. I think that's all we have for now. We appreciate your consideration and open to any questions.
Perfect. Actually, I also wanted to add, which I forgot to do when I was talking about the public correspondence. I mentioned 5 letters of support, but if I'm not mistaken, there was a secondary batch that was provided, which seems to have added at least 5, if not 6 more letters of support. I am not seeing any letters that are not providing you their support. So I guess just quick comment. I appreciate, I'm sure the committee appreciates you engaging your community as per moving this forward. So that being said, once again, I do not see any members of the public being registered to talk today. Prashante, can you please confirm that is the case?
Yes, through you, we have no members of public.
Excellent. With that, then I will throw it to the committee members if there is anybody who wishes to comment or has questions for the applicant. David, I'm not sure if I'm seeing your hand. Sometimes it disappears with the, I thought I saw your hand go up, but then it might have been erased with your background. Do you have any?
Through the chair, I think Linda is the one first raising the hand. I can come second.
Okay, no problem. Appreciate that. Linda, please go ahead.
Thank you, through the chair. It looks fine what you're doing there. Just a couple questions about the drainage and the retaining wall. Will you be doing that on the east side? Because it looks like you're a little higher than your neighbor is there. And it looks like the the trees might be just, cushioning you there. And if once you start building in there, it's going to disturb all that. I get it. Like, and you want to try and keep the trees, but is there any plan for that?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Like I'd mentioned, our intent is to not remove anything or disturb anything at all. In terms of the drainage portion, we're totally compliant with having a professional engineered drainage design and to make sure that we don't have any impact on their property at all. Yeah, like I say, the last thing we want to do is remove any trees or impact that hedge or anything.
Because we love them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. One question that's actually part of your renovations, what kind of a finishing are you going to put on the house?
Same to match the existing, so like a wood plank siding.
And white?
White.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Pleasure, thank you. David, please go ahead.
Yes, through the chair, I just want to confirm the location of the individuals with the supporting this application. Like 40 Cousin Drive, is that to the left or right of the house? 26 Cousin Drive, then you have got 34 Royal, 38 Royal, those I think are the back. So I would just want to establish the location of these individuals who are supporting this application in relation to the location of 43 Cousin Drive. I'm not sure whether Brashanti can help on the showing on the map on that drawing to show the location of these addresses in relation to 43 Cousins Drive.
Sure, just 1 second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this right here is 43, sorry, and 47 is right next door. That's the address in question, right?
Yes. Where is the 26 Cousin Drive?
26.
Okay, so 26 should be okay on the other side, the Garnet Street. Okay, so I see far to the right. 40 is just across.
Sorry.
Yeah, Royal 38 and the 34. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, the reason I was asking this is, as you can see from there, usually the people who have concern are your direct neighbors, to left, right, or front or back. So anyway, I think these are just close by. Maybe you're a good neighbor, so they like you, but in terms of setbacks, I think it's only maybe one who will be affected. The other ones will not be affected. So anyway, I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
With that is perfect. Steve, please go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, if I could, was I mistaken? I was just going through the batches of questions. Did you get a letter of support from 47? A question to the applicant. I'm sorry, or perhaps staff. I went through them. I wasn't seeing 47. I know we mentioned that 47 was the one that was directly impacted.
Yeah, I can answer that. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, they weren't there when we went by, and we figured they'd be receiving the package in the mail, seeing as they were within the proximity.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so you haven't had any. I think my comments here. First of all, I'd like to say welcome to Aurora and congratulations on your growing family.
Thank you.
you know, that was my question, not seeing 47 there. It looks like it's really only one property that's, you know, really potentially impacted here. Having said that, I think them not being there, you've made an attempt. And I think beyond that, what I'm seeing and the reasons that you've outlined in your application, you've made every attempt to minimize the impact. And I think with the vegetation there, I don't see any concerns. So from my point of view, first of all, I think you've done more than a lot of our other applicants have done to try and get the community support and to take into account the impact on your neighbors. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any concerns with this application. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you, Steve. Tom, yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. And through the chair, I just again echo Steve's comment. Welcome to Aurora and congratulations. Hope everything goes smoothly for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is the it doesn't go into it, but just a quick question. So the addition that you're going to be putting on the side of the property there, is that what is that space going to be dedicated for to the applicant?
Additional living space, like a living room.
Off the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just curious when I was reading your letter, growing family. I wasn't sure whether the house was being rearranged in order to move bedrooms or what have you around. So thank you for clarifying. And there, Linda mentioned and made reference to a retaining wall that would be going between you and your neighbor. Is that the intent? Is it a retaining wall that you're going to be putting in, or is there going to be some stabilization? Because I don't know how you're going to do a retaining wall and preserve all of the trees. So I'm just curious as to what the intent is there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't speak too much to that one. But like I say, everything will be engineered, and my intent with the engineer will be to preserve everything. So if we have an option that works best to preserve everything, that's the route that we're going to go for sure.
Okay, yeah, when I was there doing a site visit, I just noticed that it's very unstable now. And you know, the adjacent property, you know, when I look at it, you know, I guess there is some leaning of some of the existing trees over. And again, I won't say it's because you're higher, it's more that they're lower. And it, you know, there may be a maintenance issue there, I'm not sure. But again, if you're okay with the conditions that we are looking to impose, that will, in all likelihood, you know, surface, and you will probably have to address that. The other conditions there also, if you're okay with them, speak to, you know, the requirement for a potential on-site engineer, potential for even, if I look back at the conditions here, you've got the tree, for example, tree permit bylaw there that may impact how you do what you do, and that may actually, you know, come to bear here. In looking at it, is it your target then to occupy? Is the home being occupied now? It didn't look like it. And you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, we're going to be occupying. We're very close. Just very shortly. Yeah.
Okay. It didn't look like it when I was there this week. The house is occupied now.
Yeah, we just decorated a little early for Halloween.
Well said. All right, and I don't have any other questions to the applicant, and I don't have any problem with this application. I will thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Just looking at the other committee members, are there any further questions or comments or no from Steve? No. Excellent. Okay, well, with that, then I will move to request a motion from a committee member to proceed. Steve, please go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve minor variance application MV-2021-28 Steigner at 43 Cousins Drive, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Excellent. Do I have a seconder? Tom, thank you. And call to vote. All those in favor? Excellent. The motion carries. Well, thank you very much, Leanna and Russ. Truly appreciate your time. Congratulations. The committee has approved your request. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So with that said, we are done when it comes to applications. So we'll move forward through the agenda. The next item is new business. I do not have any new business. Does any committee member the town have any new business? I see no comments. Excellent. Oh, David, please.
Yeah, so to the chair, the only new business, maybe the word new, it's not really new. You see, we got an email from the manager of development planning explaining the approval we had last time for one of the applications where we limited the size or the based on the number of people or the parking space. We just wanted to know from her what is it needs to be done, because I believe the town solicitor said we were not supposed to do what we did. So what's the result? What's the next step? Is it that the condition is squashed and that's it? Deleted, or is it something like committee of adjustment? We need to sit down to make a motion, or what is it that the committee of adjustment needs to do, or what are the next steps?
So that would go to Anna. Anna, it might be a little too early to answer here today, and if that is the case, we can table it for next month or later on. But is there anything that you can comment to regarding David's question?
So just in response, through you, Mr. Chair, to David's question, I was made aware of the condition and the committee's inability to impose a condition that overrides a provisional standard. There was no other comment on any kind of next steps. So I can certainly follow up with the appropriate staff and report back to the committee on whether there's any appropriate steps.
Perfect. David, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. David, any other new business?
Not for me.
That's a no. Very good. All right. With that being said, I think I am done for today. Is there anybody who wishes to move to adjourn? I see Tom's hand. Excellent. Thank you. With that said, I am done. Tom, it's yours again.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you. All right. So I think we are done for today. Thank you. I see we're still being recorded, but and